Okay, well, welcome everybody. We are going to talk about the Healy microcurrent frequency device. It's this little tiny device here that is actually wearable. It's paired with your smartphone or a tablet and is controlled that way. So it's allowing us to do frequency medicine or energy medicine with a very small wearable device. What's really cool about that, if you know anything about energy and frequency, typically it's a large device. There was a Rife machine from almost 100 years ago. It was kind of the beginning of all this. And it's a large device. You just kind of dial in a frequency, you start it and go, and it's big. You got to sit there and hold on to it or sit on it or do something. But this is a really new concept in being able to do this as a wearable device and for self-care. So if you've gone to a practitioner where you've had to pay $100, $150 for a treatment like this in energy medicine or frequency, now you can own the device, do it for yourself, your whole family. It's going to save you a lot of money. Plus, it's a really, really advanced device that can actually scan your bioenergetic field, suggest the programs you need, and alter the frequencies you're getting based on your field. So if this is a new concept to you and you're not familiar with the concept of frequencies and being, I call it frequencies for health, this is what it means. Every cell in our body is a little electrical power plant, and it generates an EMF field around your body, a bioenergetic field. Quantum physicists are very familiar with this field now. In fact, they even will call it the information field because you can read information in that bioenergetic field in the form of frequencies. So how this works is if you can resonate energy into these different cells, because every cell has an ideal frequency or an ideal vibration. And if you can resonate energy at specific frequencies, you get a response. And one way to think of that about that I've heard used before is if you have a violin sitting on the other side of the room, and on this side of the room, you start bowing the G string on the second violin, the G string on the first violin on the other side of the room will start to vibrate and create sound because there's a resonant frequency that is shared by those strings. And I have a background as a piano technician, and if I've owned a recording studio, I understand a lot about sound frequencies. And even the same thing in the piano, I can play the C, I can play middle C, but hold down the key for the C above middle C. And if I play middle C really hard, the string on the C above will vibrate and create a tone. If I hold down the C sharp though and play the C, it doesn't work because there's not a shared resonant frequency in those strings. Same thing in our cells. If we can get the energy at the right frequency, it's amazing. There's even videos online like TED Talks and stuff where they show about even targeting cancer cells. It's amazing what can be done. Now, I should say right off the bat here that with the Healy, we cannot claim that we cure any disease or mitigate any disease. We have to be very careful of that. The FDA would shut us down because this is a holistic device. It is, however, FDA cleared for pain, for muscle soreness, for arthritis pain. Over in Europe, they have medical clearances for things like anxiety and depression and fibromyalgia. So there is some medical some people in the traditional medical community that do recognize that frequencies work for certain things. However, the Healy is doing 100 other things, 100 times other things that FDA would never probably approve of or care about. And honestly, I don't care what the FDA thinks. I'm really more into holistic health myself. I would rather do things to avoid pharmaceutical drugs, to avoid vaccines, to do, if you're like me and you want to avoid that type of stuff, and do things holistically to help your health, this is more what you should be looking at. So frequencies at specific hertz can be done with light or sound or microcurrent or lasers. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can measure frequency in hertz, right? This is specifically 3 different ways that you can do frequency with the Healy. One is microcurrent, where it is, as you see here, I have this plugged in with some wires that are going to electrodes that are on my wrists on these little bracelets. These just snap on just like a TENS unit type adhesive pad. In fact, we have those adhesive pads. I don't have them sitting here on my desk, but if you have shoulder pain, you can put one of those little pads on either side of your shoulder, plug these wires into it, run a pain program from the Healy, and it'll run the frequencies right through that area. But typically, most programs we use on the wrists, and the frequencies will flow between the 2 wrists through the body, hitting all those meridian points and energy pathways in the body, and getting that frequency into all the cells. a couple of quotes that I always like to point out just so people can see that this really is the future of healthcare. Way back 80, 90 years ago, two very famous quantum physicists had some pretty amazing quotes. One was Nikola Tesla. I'm sure you've heard of Nikola Tesla. It's not the car company, okay? They stole his name for the car company, but Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And then Albert Einstein said, this is maybe a little less commonly known, but he said, future medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So here we are, the future is now. There was a Rife machine a long time ago where you'd hold on to these copper rods and they would put a frequency through your body. You just dial it into a certain frequency, and he was having great results. This is right at the same time that the Rockefellers and the American Medical Association was determining that they wanted to use pharmaceutical drugs to treat instead of holistic approaches. I don't know if you knew that before that, all the medical colleges were holistic type colleges, and it's all changed back in the 1930s to a more of a pharmaceutical drugs type of a program. So Dr. Raymond Royal Rife was kind of shut down with this Rife machine, and there were different frequency type machines over the years. And as the last 20 to 30 years, especially over in Europe and maybe even especially in Germany, they've been developing more and more with frequency type devices. So the Healy is actually based on another larger machine called a time waver. So if you may have heard of time waver, there's practitioners all around the world that own one of these time waver type devices, but it's large. It connects to a computer. It can cost $20,000 and even as much as $40,000 for the really high-end time waver devices. So this isn't really something typically an individual would own for their family, but Healy is an offshoot of that. So time waver and the inventor, Marcus Schmieke, decided they really wanted to have a device that could get into the hands of average people. In fact, a stated goal of Healy is that 100 million families someday would own this device, and that it would make a huge impact on the world, on the health of the world. And we're talking everything is frequency and energy and vibration. So it's physical health, emotional health, mental health, all areas of health can be affected by frequency. So this offshoot, this little device, is really hitting the world by storm. We're already in over 60 countries. It started in Germany about 4 or 5 years ago, first came to the US in May of 2020. And that's when I heard about it from a friend of mine that is a holistic doctor out of Idaho. Her name is Dr. Corrine Allen. And she called me up and said, David, I just got this Healy device. She had ordered it the first day it was available in the US, which was May 1st, 2020. And she had just gotten it and used it with her clients for about a week and then called me up and said, you have got to check this thing out. So I bought one just because I know her and trust her and love her and know that anything she recommends is something that's going to be good for me. It just became quite a story on how not only have we used it for the health of ourselves and our family and my wife, but as a business. We have built a business around this. So Healy is using network marketing as a distribution model. It's completely optional. Some of you are here only just to learn about the product, which is great. But if you are interested or you know others that would be excited about this, you can earn commissions and bonuses. And for me, it's turned into a 6-figure per year business that's growing and expanding. And I fully intend to make it much, much, much bigger, because it is possible, because this company is going to be a multi-billion-dollar global company. This stuff was predicted by people too, like Steve Jobs and Microsoft, and all these big tech people have talked about the idea of wearable health devices, even dealing in frequencies. So we're just happen to be the first one that's a really cool one, okay? And we're going to be the biggest one. Okay, let's go over kind of how it works. First of all, you plug in these wires, doing electrical type microcurrent frequencies through the body. When I do run a program, I can feel a little tingling in my hands. You can feel that. I'll show that to you in a second. Another way we can do frequencies, though, is we can remove these wires. And then we have this thing. It's called the Healy coil. You can see that coil of wire in there. It's actually 2 coils of wire that are parallel. This is actually a Tesla coil device. So it's an accessory that is a Tesla coil that creates something called a 0-point field and does frequency with something called scalar waves. So these are a lot of quantum physics type terms, and you don't need to necessarily know all that, but it's just cool to understand that these little prongs here will plug in right where the wires went. So it just sits on the back of the Healy. And now you can still put it in your pocket or clip it to your shirt or however you want. You want it to be within the bioenergetic field, because the Healy does also have a sensor that's reading the information in that field and adjusting the frequencies for that. But now you're doing frequencies without wires. This is more about balancing the energy in that bioenergetic field or that EMF field around your body. So it is more subtle than using the wires, but you can do a lot more programs. So Healy would tell you to only do about 3 programs a day using the electrodes and put some space in between. Programs typically anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes long on average. But you'd put some space, then do one maybe morning, afternoon, and evening, right? But in between, you can do as many as you want with this coil device. Or if you're somewhere where it's just inconvenient to have these wires, you can just put it in your pocket while you're at the gym, while you're shopping, hiking, biking. I a lot of times go on a bike ride. I'll do longer road cycling, and I'll just put this in the back of my jersey with the coil, running fitness programs while I'm riding, and so on. So I'm going to go ahead though and take the coil back off and plug the wires in, because I want to demonstrate how the Healy works for you really quick. So I'm going to share my screen. This is sharing my phone screen so that you can see what I see when we're running the app. So these are some different apps that we do with the Healy. I'm already connected to the first main app right here, this one that says Healy. This is how we would run the microcurrent programs, either with the wires or with that coil. These are all the different program group names. Each of these pages have as many as 12 programs in them. And, so there's actually hundreds of programs on MagHealy, hundreds of different microcurrent program sets. So let's just go over kind of what they are really quick. We have Gold Cycle. These were developed by one of these time waver practitioners out of Portugal. And Pure is about detoxing the body, and Release is about pain in the body. So this kind of covers the gamut of every area, some physical, mental, emotional stuff. Here's pain programs. These are the 2 that are FDA cleared, but we also have tooth and jaw pain, joint pain, migraine pain. This is actually insomnia, anxiety, and depression down here. We have learning programs. These are great for people with autism as well, and kids, ADHD. We've seen some great results. Fitness programs. I'll usually run one of these while I'm actually riding my bike or hiking or something. Run the regeneration program afterwards to help regenerate those muscles that you've torn up in your workout. Job programs, even things like positive thoughts and just getting activated or motivated. Sleep programs here. Mental balance programs. We'll try to go quickly through these, but you can see there's even beauty and skin programs, even things for scars. Bioenergetic Harmony 1 and 2. These are 24 programs here covering all sorts of areas. You can see Shiver is actually about if you're getting a cold. They call that Shiver over in Europe, I guess. Nerve Harmony was an important program for me. I had some numbness in my hand here when I first got the Healy. I thought it was permanent. It had been going on for a while, and it was kind of like a neuropathy thing. I'm a piano player too, so I didn't like that, but this program really helped. In fact, I'll show you in a second how we do scans, and the Healy can suggest which programs you need the most. And this is the one that came up most often for me, because this is where the greatest imbalance was for me at the time when I got the Healy. The other one that came up a lot for me was sciatic nerve program here. So I would put the adhesive type electrodes on either side of that sciatic nerve on my left side, because for 10 years I had been having issues with sciatica. Now for the last 3 years, I've had virtually no issues with sciatica, just a couple very minor flare-ups. If I did something very strenuous, like moving out of a house and moving all our furniture, I noticed a little bit, but nothing like I used to have. And I consider this pretty much taken care of. Healy, again, found that imbalance, suggested those programs for me, and still do every day. I do those kind of scans. Meridians, if you're familiar with acupuncture, it talks about those energy pathways. We got 2 pages of meridians. You may be familiar with the concept of chakras, which are 7 energy centers in the body. Some people think this is just a very spiritual thing, the term chakra, but this is actually science. Like the throat chakra is around the thyroid gland and so on. It's actually a lot of this has to do with the endocrine system. Bioenergetic defense, if you're sensitive to things like 5G or Bluetooth, we actually have programs that will help with that. There is bioenergetic support. This was an immune system booster that was released during COVID. Coherence is just about an overall balancing of energy in the system. I love these programs, are some of my favorites. They are having to do with stem cell frequencies, human growth hormone, all the things that keep us young, epigenetics, you might be familiar with that term. Deep cycles, detoxing the body. Digital nutritions is like having a brain or hair or skin supplement, but it's the frequency information of those vitamin, minerals, and nutrients. So it's not that saying you don't have to eat anymore, of course, but you can actually still resonate that energy of those vitamins into your system, because it's all energy anyway, and we can have some really amazing results. 6 pages of those. So there's tons of stuff here. There's even some beyond this I'm not going to go into. I just want to show you, let's say I were to run this brain harmony program right here. It says it would be a 60-minute program. I can use the electrodes on the wrist like it shows, or I could even use the coil, it says. I hit start. It's going to send the frequencies in that list, and there may be hundreds of frequencies in this brain harmony program group that these time waver practitioners have created for us. And it's starting me out at 789 hertz, as you see here. After 10 seconds, this will change. Every 10 seconds, it changes to another one. So now it's 999 hertz. 10 seconds later, it'll do another. And this is actually testing my system. It's running these frequencies through my bioenergetic field to see which ones are needed the most. And it's choosing a set for me. So if you were to run the same program at the same time as me, even though we'd have the same set of potentially 100 or 200 frequencies in that set, it would choose different ones for me and you. So this will go on for 59 minutes. I typically will increase this intensity up to about 35 or 40%. Even there at 30%, I was starting to feel tingling in my hands, especially on these lower frequencies. You can feel them better. But look what happens if I unplug one of these electrodes. It'll say that a frequency is generated. It's generating this frequency from the Healy, but there's no measurable current flowing because I've interrupted the circuit, because my body is part of the circuit. I think that's important to understand, that the energy is flowing between my 2 wrists, through my body, through the cells, and the water in my body is what is able to conduct this very low current. Okay, so this is not like a TENS unit where it's 1,000 times the amperage of a Healy. This is very low current. It just happens to be very specific frequencies that have been proven to work for certain issues. Okay, so that's how you would run a program. I'm going to stop that. And I just want to show you the other cool thing about the Healy is how we can do scans. I will tell you there's also an advisor app where you could type in an issue or a condition or a symptom, everything from a disease to just the term brain fog or something, and it'll tell you which programs would be best to support your body with it for that situation. But then we also have this Analyze app. This is a new version of the Healy Advisor Analyze app that is going to be made available to everyone in a couple weeks, a week or two. This is a beta version, but I want to use that one because it is really cool. It's a lot better than the old version that everyone's been using so far. I just want you to see what we have here. So in this app, there is several different modules that you can use: resonance, aura analysis, a coaching analysis. I'll just explain very quickly that coaching means it's like a life coach, or it can be in the areas of health, but it can also be in the areas of finance or business or personal relationships, because everything is energy and frequency. You can actually impact the emotional blockages that may be keeping you from reaching a goal, for instance. So you can set goals in here and actually use frequency to help you break past barriers. Aura analysis is specifically about the 7 chakras and showing how the energy balance of those. We're not going to go into those because I don't have a lot of time here, but I mainly want to show you the resonance. So resonance means I can go in here, I'll click on that one, and these are all those programs you saw in the other app, like job and learning and mental balance, and skin and sleep and so on, right? I could scan within any of those and just see which programs are most resonant with me. But the best way to do that is actually go to this one called All Healy, which will first do an analysis. I have to first connect to the device, so make sure it's turned on. Since we switched apps, I have to reconnect here. So it's going to search for the device. I tap it, hit connect. And as soon as it connects with the Bluetooth connection, it's going to do a scan of my bioenergetic field, comparing my EMF field or bioenergetic field to these 28 different sets of programs. And it'll tell me the top 5. So bioenergetic vitalization is number 1 for me. Meridians page 2 is number 2 for me. That has 10 programs in it. This has 12. Bioenergetic defense program has 12 programs. So these are the ones that are most resonant. The higher this percentage, the more resonant, meaning the more I need something in that set. I can do something very cool with this vibrate function. I'll show you that in a second though, actually. Let's actually go back. Since this is my number 1 program group, I'm going to go back to dashboard and then go into bioenergetic vitalization. Like I showed you, there's 12 programs. And I know this is my number 1 most important group right now. It's going to do a scan of my field here very quickly. And it tells me that bone harmony is my number 1 program. And then a program called regeneration 3, then regeneration 2, pineal gland harmony, and youth. Those are my 5 most important. I could just click this arrow and it will switch to the other app and it will start that bone harmony program where I'd use either the electrodes or that Healy coil accessory device that you clip on. Or the third way we can do frequencies is vibrate. So what vibrate means is, I'll just start it with the default is 1 minute and 20 seconds. It's sending frequencies into my bioenergetic field from all 5 of these program groups. This is even more subtle than doing a specific program with the coil or the wires, and it's kind of more of an overall balancing. But this is actually done in the quantum field through what's called quantum entanglement. So this may, some people might get kind of weirded out by this, but it's actually possible to do remote work with someone, sending frequencies through quantum entanglement to their bioenergetic field. And honestly, I didn't believe that that was possible until we started doing it and people were having results. So results speak for themselves. This is how this is working. So again, 3 ways to do frequencies. One is the electrodes with the first app, or that coil, the coil device here, or you can do these vibrational frequencies from scan results. This has just got about 15 more seconds, so I'll let that finish so you kind of see, but it's doing some from all 5 of these. And then I'll just show you one other quick cool thing here, and then we'll get on to your questions and just kind of how you would purchase a Healy if you're interested. So if I go back to the client, I can look at the history. I can see all the scans I've done in the past. I can go back and re-vibrate those, or just see, like I did earlier today, this meridians too. I could go in here and say, oh yeah, the organ meridian was number 1 for me. I want to go over here. If I were to add a new client, it's really interesting to know that you can do a person, you can work with animals, work with plants. You can see even a group of people. We can do frequency work with different clients that aren't just people, which is also really cool. The animal results we get are just amazing because animals work a lot more in their subconscious. They're much more aware of things like frequencies and energy, and they'll snuggle up to the Healy, and when the program ends, they look up at you and go, what in the world, why did you stop that? I love it, and they get results too. So just know that this is really advanced what we can do. It's just really incredible. All right, so I'm going to go back here, and we're going to leave here. If you do have questions, you're welcome to type stuff in the chat too as I'm talking, but I'm going to go into some more information here. We do have people here that can help answer questions. I'm going to now just share my computer screen so we can go over, let me just go to the desktop here and then go to this. All right, so this is where we're going to talk about the different Healy editions. Oh, actually, this reminds me right here, this little device here. I need to stop sharing really quick and show you guys another product that Healy has, just so you understand what's possible here. So this is another device called a MagHealy. It does magnetic fields that have frequencies. So this is electrical, right? It's a microcurrent, or the coilless scalar waves, or the vibrational frequencies in the quantum field. This is specifically magnetic fields. And there's 4 different modules. One is called classic, where it actually has you place on different areas of the body and does a program. One is called McMakin, after Dr. Carolyn McMakin, who works with 2 frequencies at a time in something she calls frequency-specific microcurrent. The 2 frequencies intersect in the body and cause what she calls a resonance effect. She has a book called The Resonance Effect. And so she is working with Healy and has developed 24 programs in here where you'd place it on specific areas of the body and run programs. And it can be brain harmony and vagus nerve, and there's tons of 24 different ones. Very cool. The other two modules I love because they're so unique. One is called Atmosphere, where you set it in the room and it puts out a magnetic field with frequency, creating an atmosphere conducive to different things. So for instance, there's a program called Study that I usually run when I'm working. I set it on the desk, it's running the study frequency, and it just helps me concentrate. It helps me stay focused. There's one called Family Harmony, and I hid this thing underneath the table at Thanksgiving for family harmony. There's one called Children Playing. There's one called Pantry or Kitchen. So different areas of the house. There's one called Car, where you can put it in the car with you, and it helps neutralize a lot of that electromagnetic stuff that's going on in our cars nowadays. But then there's the fourth module is called Water, where I'll take my water bottle, fill it up with water, put this on top, and there's 24 different 10-minute programs that you can choose from, and you're informing water with frequency with the MagHealy. So I love using the one called Fitness if you're going to work out. There's actually one called Fasting Morning, Fasting Afternoon, Fasting Evening if you're doing some fasting. There's ones for vagus nerve. There's one for mental clarity. And you can also, with the Healy, in that resonance module I showed you, you can scan to see which ones you need. So for instance, this morning I did a scan for my MagHealy water programs, and it said the one called Unpleasant Sensations is the program that I needed the most. That's most resonant. So I put that into my water that I'm drinking throughout the day today. So that device is a separate device from the Healy. It's newer. It hasn't even been out for a year yet, but it's very, very cool. All right, let's go back to sharing the screen here with this little overview. I just want to point out that with the Healy itself, there are 5 different editions of the Healy at 5 different price points. So the lower priced Healys will have fewer programs and fewer app modules that are available and fewer functionality. The higher priced Healys will have more. When you purchase a Healy, though, you get everything you need and a 14-day money-back guarantee, and it's from the day you receive it. So they know the date it was delivered. You have 14 days. If you decide to return it, you will get all of your money back. The hardware is the same for each edition. So if you need to start with a lower price edition, you can later upgrade to a higher edition by paying the difference plus a little more as an upgrade fee. It's much less expensive to just get the highest edition you can afford at the beginning, because there's usually some kind of discounts or promotions like there is today that I'm going to share with you. That's a pretty incredible promotion that we've been doing just for the last few days. So this is just showing all the different program groups, the different app modules. We talked about the search module. We used the resonance module, for instance, but even like the digital nutrition that I showed you is 6 pages of 72 different programs. There's also an app module where it can even help create grocery lists for you of the foods you would eat that would also be conducive to what goals you're trying to accomplish with your health. So there's as many as 306 different microcurrent programs. And in addition, we have additional databases that you can do those vibrational type frequencies in the quantum field that are even beyond this. So there's tons of options. Just, which edition you have is going to determine how much of this you have. So let's go into that. This is a pricing chart that I created that shows the different editions, what they cost, what comes in each one, and the promotions that we're doing. So typically we have the Healy Gold at about $500, ranging all the way up to the Healy Professional that is as much as $4,000. And many, many people have paid the full price, $4,000 for the Professional. As you can see right now, just as of June 21st to the end of the month, they're doing 60% off on the Professional. So they've only done this a couple times where they've done this 60% off. I think this is just the 3rd time, and it's just for, about 10 days. But that's an amazing, amazing deal, because just a few days ago, it was $2,600. It was a 35% discount like these other two, and many people bought it at that price. So you have an opportunity to get the top of the line Professional for a price, 60% off the normal. It's amazing. So how this works is you go up an edition, you're just adding these sets of programs or app modules. If it's in dark bold, that's an app module, meaning it's more functionality than just sets of programs. Like the resonance module that we talked about starts at the resonance edition or higher. So if you want to, most people want to at least be able to do those scans that I showed you. And so I would recommend starting resonance or higher. Well, right now, because the resonance is 35% off, it's actually cheaper than the holistic. So there's no reason to get a holistic. So if your budget is just really tight, you would get the gold where there's just 11 programs. If you can afford the resonance, it's only $985 right now. And they're giving you that Healy coil that normally costs $225 as a free add-on to this bundle here. So that's a great value. The Resonance Plus is 35% off. It has been because all three of these were, but since they've upped this to 60% off, the Professional is actually less expensive than the Resonance Plus. So there's no reason to buy a Resonance Plus right now. So as we've gone up and we've added these groups of programs and then these groups and so on, you can see that you're getting quite a bit more here. 229 programs, 6 different app modules. We're at the resonance level, 98 microcurrent programs, 2 app modules, and the gold is just 11 microcurrent programs and 1 app module, because holistic and resonance plus doesn't make any sense to buy those right now because the higher edition is actually cheaper. So there is also on the MagHealy itself, it is the full price. They really typically don't discount this MagHealy price. It's called the MagHealy Professional, where it has all 4 sets of applications that we talked about with 86 different programs. $2,990, but they are right now doing, if you buy that at full price, they also give you one of these Resonance Plus editions for free. Now that would not include the coil and the bundle thing. So you'd want to probably, I recommend getting the coil. It is really nice to be able to do additional programs in a day and without the wires. I don't recommend only using the coil. Okay, the wires are important. That's the most direct physical type of microcurrent frequency. And so don't neglect that just because you get a coil for convenience. So that's the different additions, 14-day money-back guarantee, and there is even financing options. I also have this chart in Canadian dollars if you happen to be in Canada, or in Mexico in pesos, same deals. I will tell you, whoops, I need to update this. It should say 60% off, right? I didn't do that on Canada. I did update the price, though. The price is correct. It's just I didn't write 60% there. If you are in Mexico or Canada, you know, there is a separate shop that you purchase through and you pay in your currency. And then there are different financing type options depending on your country as well. If you decide to be what's called a member, there's some additional options. This is if you want to be able to refer Healy to other people, help promote this concept of we want 100 million families that own a Healy and really impact the world with frequency. And this allows you to earn commissions for referring others to Healy. In your fast start promotion period, when you're new, you actually can earn higher commissions than even I can at this point. Because you're new, they give you incentive to get off to a quick start and share this with a lot of people. And you can even earn a free Healy device up to the level of the Resonance Plus, so the 4th most expensive Healy during that fast start promotion as well. This is network marketing, but I believe this is the next big network marketing company. Like Herbalife is a multi-billion-dollar company worldwide. That's where Healy is headed. We're right now to only a few $100,000 or a few $100 million a year, but we will be a multi-billion-dollar company throughout the whole world, a true global opportunity here. So you can build a team of other customers or Healy World members all over the world. And there's 11 different ways you can earn with our compensation plan, from the actual commissions to what's called dual bonus commissions, mentoring and coaching bonuses. There's check matching bonuses. There's even like where you can earn off a global pool of a percentage of the whole world's production if you reach a certain level in our compensation plan, and so on. There is also sometimes extra ways that you can earn additions. So right now they're doing just the month of June that if you can earn a free Healy Resonance Plus edition if you personally refer 3 new members or customers who purchase the Resonance edition or higher, and that also includes the MagHealy. So there are people on this call right now that know a lot of people that this would interest. And there are people that will probably buy a Healy, probably the Professional tonight because it's such a great deal, and that they will refer at least 3 other people that are customers or members by the 30th and have already earned a free device in addition to the one they purchased. Now, why do you want multiple devices? I've earned many over time. And you can see here, I've got 2 Healys right here. I'll be running one with those vibrational frequencies while I'm doing another one with either the coil or the wire sometimes. but you also might want more than one in your family, or you might want one that you can loan out to someone to let them try it, especially if you're doing this as a business. So it's nice to be able to do this. In fact, you can do this unlimited cycles. If you were to refer 6 people before the 30th that buy a residence or higher, you would earn 2 of those free devices. So the way to get started is really purchase your device, choose the member option, which by the way is free. Doesn't cost anything to be a member. You purchase your Healy device, which by the way, there's no subscriptions, there's no yearly fees, there's no monthly fees. You buy the device, you own all those programs for life. The MagHealy, just so you know, they are going to switch to a subscription model in July. As you saw right now, it's just basically you buy a full price, $3,000. In July, starting July 5th, you will have a second option where you just buy the classic MagHealy, which is the classic programs, and you can subscribe to those other 3 modules like Atmosphere or Water or McMakin. But that will be an option. You can still always buy the whole thing with no subscriptions. But with the Healy at this point, there are no subscriptions. Now, if you do buy a lower edition Healy and you want a program that's in a higher edition Healy, you can either upgrade or you can subscribe to individual program groups as like a monthly subscription. But if you choose a Healy edition that you love, you will have all of those programs for life in your Healy. Lastly, I just want to point out that we have a group. Our team is called the Frequency Workshop. That's my downline organization. Thousands of people now, one of the fastest growing teams in Healy. By just purchasing through me or any of our team members here, that many of them have invited you to this call, you get a lot of extra support. We do meetings like this where you can introduce Healy to other people and help you build your business. We do a business training on Monday nights by Zoom. We have an email list and a private Facebook group where you can ask questions. You're going to get a lot of support. It doesn't cost you anything. You just get to be part of our awesome team. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing the screen and just see if we have any questions. You are welcome to find the little raise hand feature down at the bottom of the screen. If you look, there'll be a reactions, perhaps it says. It looks different on mine since I'm the host. But if you have a question, if you want to raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can ask it, or you can type into the chat. While we're waiting to see if we have any questions, do we have anyone here that already owns a Healy that would like to share their experience? See who's here. How about Ray? Are you able to unmute? I mean, I probably have to ask you to unmute, don't I? See if it'll let you unmute here.
There we go.
Hey Ray, so I know you've had your Healy for what, almost 3 years? Getting close?
Pretty close.
All right, why don't you share your experience, how you learned about it and what it's done for you guys?
It's been life-changing for us. We found out about it, like David said, almost 3 years ago now. My son had a major growth spurt where he grew about 6 inches in 8 months. And it was so fast, he still has stretch marks on his back from that. But the poor kid could hardly walk, let alone run. And we met up with some of my best friends to go on vacation. And they saw him and how he was walking, and they had just purchased their Healy and barely knew how to use it. But they said, hey, this thing's cleared for pain and it's from Germany, so it's good quality stuff. And they did a vibration on him, and 2 hours later he started walking normal. And my wife says, I got to have one of those. And so it's helped our entire family with numerous things, anywhere from helping me reduce the amount of insulin I take, having been diabetic for over 30 years, to neuropathy in one of my legs, and hormones for my daughters and my wife, and just the list goes on and on. And you know, being an entrepreneur myself and seeing opportunity and knowing that this company was so new at this and they were looking for people to share, I jumped in and started sharing it with people, and we've made a difference in thousands of lives thus far. So it's been amazing and life-changing, not only for me, but for everybody that I've shared this with as well.
That's great. Yeah, and you know, Ray is just a top leader now with Healy, doing this as a business. For those of you that are looking for a business or a way even just to do a side hustle to make some extra income, there's a lot of opportunity with this company because it is growing, and this is the wave of the future and how a lot of healthcare will be done, at least holistic healthcare will be focused on frequencies and energy medicine as we get farther into this decade. So I could share real quick my story. If anyone else here would like to share theirs, let me know, put up your hand or send me a text, something like that. But as far as on the business side, when I looked at Healy, I was looking for a business. I had actually quit my job in January of 2020, right when COVID started, and was looking for ways to earn income online. And for reason, I had a specific why. And that was because all of our 3 kids had grown up, gone through college, gotten married, and moved away. So my wife and I, we were living in Virginia, both working at a university, and our kids had all moved away and they were starting to have grandkids. And we got 2 or 3 weeks a year of vacation. Did not want that lifestyle. We wanted a more mobile lifestyle so that we could see our kids and grandkids. So our goal was to sell our house, move into an RV, and live and travel full-time in an RV. And that's actually what we're doing now. This is actually my little office in my RV that you're seeing here. So we are currently in Kalispell, Montana, but we'll go wherever is family, friends. We've been exploring national parks, but doing this business. I do all this on Zoom, like this, presentations like this, one-on-one presentations with people and sharing information. I initially talked to just people I knew that were into holistic health for months. I talked to people I knew and sold many of these Healys because everyone loves this when they see it. But then I started getting into doing some social media and even some advertising and just different strategies that work. And this allows you to build a business where you could have generational wealth. This can be passed on to your kids someday because you're building a business based on sales of a device that's taken over the world. So keep that in mind. One reason why you may want to jump on board quickly is because of how our compensation plans, we do have what's called a dual tree as part of our compensation plan, where every time you sponsor someone, that you place them either on your left side or your right side. That's not our whole compensation plan. We have a lot of unilevel for those that understand network marketing, but we do have that dual tree. So for instance, I know that I'll probably sell 5 or 6 more Healys this week because of the sale. And the people that come on board first and choose to be a member go in first. And then the next person that purchases a Healy under me drops down underneath them. And that person's volume that they generate can actually benefit the person above them, even though they may not know each other. So there's this possibility of getting some perks by choosing to get involved and get your Healy ordered as soon as possible, because then you will have more people coming into your network that you aren't even aware of or that you aren't even involved with. So especially when you're working with someone like Ray or me or Donita or some of these other people on this call that are leaders in this and that bring on a lot of people. So you want to definitely get back with the person that shared with you about the Healy. Let them know if you're just interested in being a customer or if you want to be involved as a member. I am actually, there's one other thing I was going to share real quick, because I found this has been helpful just to let people see how you place an order. So I actually already set it up here. I just got to move this where I can see it. There we go. When your person that told you about Healy is going to send you a link similar to this one that I have here. This is actually a link for my daughter's account. And it'll go and you'll choose the country. They may send you a link that takes you right to your country, but if not, you'll choose, in this case, I'll choose United States. But you can do, those are all the different countries. So it'll say you were referred by, and it should have the person's name that is helping you. You just click yes. From here, you can explore all about Healy. You can learn you click on all these different things and learn stuff. Learn more about the Healy, the MagHealy, the coil, program groups. There's tons that do. But if you quickly just want to order, you can either go shop editions right here. Shop add-ons is where you'd find the coil. Or if you just go to sale, it'll go right to that 60% off on the Healy Professional Edition. So let's just for fun, assume you're going to do the professional. Here's the normal price, but it's going to give you 60% off, and it'll be calculated and displayed in the checkout. So we'd add that to the cart. You could view cart, or we can just go right to checkout right here. Now, we with the professional, like the resonance one would also show that you're getting the coil for free here, but the professional at 60% off does not include the coil. I do recommend getting the coil. So let's just, for fun, say we're doing that too. We go shop add-ons, where it's probably even down at the bottom. You could do add-ons right there. Yeah. But that's $224.50. So I'm going to add that. I don't recommend that Healy watch at this point. There's a newer version coming out that's going to be much better. But it is a cool concept. So we'll add that to the cart. And then let's go right to the checkout, because I just want you to see how there's options here. Oh, proceed to checkout. There we go. Took off that discount there. You see it took off $2,424. So the total with the professional and the coil is $1,840. Now it will add tax once you fill in your name and your address over here. You'll choose a username. You have to check these boxes. If you're being the member, you check these boxes. This is the independent Healy World Member Agreement. If you choose customer instead, because you have no intention or desire to share this with others and earn commissions and so on, just choose customer, and then those boxes will disappear. But over here, look, you can either just pay with a Visa or MasterCard right there and hit place order, or you can check this button that says buy now, pay later with Klarna. Klarna is a third-party company that does the financing for not only online stores. I saw it advertised in malls, in the windows, that you can purchase products even from stores in the mall through Klarna. They they can actually do a pay in 4 if your order is, I think, under $1,700. So that wouldn't work in this scenario at $1,800. But pay in 4 means you'd pay a fourth of it now, and then every 2 weeks you pay a fourth, no interest, not even a credit check, I don't think. Maybe there is on that. Or you can do financing up to 24 months, and it's pretty reasonable interest rates. It'll depend on your credit score. It does a soft pull. PayPal also is an option, and they even have now, PayPal will give you the option to pay it all at once or to divide it up over time as well. This is the simplest, quickest, easiest, if you can afford just to put it on your credit card. But if you need to do a financing option, choose one of these two. You'll have to check these 2 boxes, hit place order. Everything should go fine. Once in a while, the credit card company will wonder if it's fraud, because it's a larger amount. It's coming from a company based out of Europe. So if you do get a thing where it says suspected fraud, then you just need to respond to the text or the email, or call your credit card company, and then just resubmit it right afterwards once they approve it. So that's it. You want to get started, and then if you are interested in just learning about the Healy, how to use it, you're going to get great information by email from Healy. They do live trainings every week. There's different types of trainings. There's podcasts. There's things on YouTube. There's live stuff happening all the time. They have a Healy Academy with tons of video training on how to use everything. And then, of course, our team, we're doing our own training. And your sponsor or upline leader people in your organization are here to help you at any point. We also love to do Zoom meetings with people. Like if let's say you're a practitioner of some kind, or just a person that's into holistic health, and you know a lot of other people that are into holistic health. If you would want to get with me and we do a Zoom meeting, just the 2 of us, with your group of friends or clients, we can set that up as well. And that'll help you get several referrals under your belt quickly, earn some free devices, earn commissions, and build a business with us. So is there anyone else here that would like to share a testimonial, or anyone here that has a question? I'm going to make it so anyone can unmute if they want to. Let me find that. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself if you do have a question or just want to share something.
Yasmina has a question, and the answer to that, Yasmina, is yes, absolutely. You can use that and share it with your clients. I work with a lot of practitioners, and it's the affordable way to bring some of the frequency technology into your office.
Yeah, and there's a couple ways you can think of that. You can do pay for service for actually running Healy programs on people, or many people that are practitioners will just let them experience the Healy along with what else you're doing with acupuncture, massage therapy, and so on, with the goal of that they will want to purchase a Healy through you. So that's Healy's goal, is that people would do self-care with this device, but it has been very effective. And there are practitioners that charge for these sessions, and there are some that even charge to do it as just remote sessions with people as an ongoing thing. But what we found is typically once people experience it and realize they can own it for themselves, they want to buy their own. And so Yasmina, you'd be able to do that, and probably very effectively. Both Ray and I have worked with a lot of practitioners that just start introducing their clients, and it's amazing what a high percentage of their clients end up wanting to buy the Healy because they experience it. You get to try it, and it's very cool. So yes, I hope you will choose to do that and get involved with us. Any other questions? I think I could, let's see, Donita, can I twist your arm and ask you to come and just share your story real quick? You can do it, Donita. You've got a great story.
Hang on, I have to go to another room.
Okay, I caught her off guard, everyone. Donita is actually
Yeah,
the
you did.
first person that I told. When I learned about the Healy and I purchased mine, that next morning I called up Donita as the very first person that I wanted to introduce this to, because I knew she was also into holistic health concepts, and she's just a good friend. So first person I shared it with, and the first person that bought a Healy through me 3 years ago. So Donita, I know you've had quite a story, especially with your husband, and can you just share that real quick?
Yes, I can. So, in 2018 had been outside doing some work, and he'd had previously a heart attack, but he said he didn't feel right. And the next thing I knew, I found him unresponsive, and I had to do CPR on him. And he did come back, and we actually was sent over to Colorado, and they actually put in a pacemaker and a defibrillator. So from that whole ordeal that took place, things weren't really good with me. I wasn't understanding why. Previously, a few years before that, we had lost a son he was murdered. And I realized I wasn't really dealing with the grief, and I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And to be quite frank, I just really didn't want to live anymore. But I never really had a plan. And David did know of my situation. Bless his heart, he reached out to me, and I said, I'm going to pray about it. I mean, it didn't take me very long to get an answer from God that was what I need to do. And so I purchased mine, and with training, by the time we got it was 6 weeks, because they were back ordered throughout, when they first came to the United States. I felt a difference the first day that I used it. And I have just always said that I feel like this has been a gift from God to me. And I don't know what I'd do without it. Since then, I have used it on many, many, many people. I love to share the experiences that we have. And I just feel like every household needs to have one. And there's something new to learn every day from it. But
yeah,
that's my story.
That's a great story, and your husband's doing great at this point too.
Yes,
Right?
he is.
Doing
Yes, he
well,
is.
and he uses his Healy as well.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So yeah, thank you for sharing, Donita. I think we'll
You're
probably
welcome.
wrap it up unless there's anybody else that has a question here. Give it just a few seconds, see if anyone raised their hand or unmutes themselves, but definitely get back with the person that shared Healy with you. They can answer your questions, help you get an order placed, and help you get started on learning how to use it. It's not as difficult as it might appear. There's a lot of different modules, a lot of things you can do, but we do have very organized training and different videos and so on that you can access. So look forward to talking to you guys in the future here. And by the way, we're going to go ahead and do this meeting again tomorrow night. Because of this deal, the 60% off is just too good of a thing to pass up. So some of you that are brand new here, you may want to get involved and even bring people tomorrow night to the meeting. So it's going to be the same time, same link, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern. And then, in fact, we'll probably do it as well on Thursday, because you know this deal, by the way, ends on Friday at midnight UTC, which is the time in London. So that ends up being 8 p.m. Eastern Friday is the very last second that you can get it at 60% off for the professional. So that's why I wanted to do this meeting tonight, and that we're going to repeat it tomorrow night and the next night as well. And we can get a lot of people and help a lot of people this week. So thank you, everybody, and good night.